In this video, we are going to add a secondary owner to a process app. In Composer, I've created a very simple process app with a very simple workflow with just a few transitions and a few states. I am currently clicked into the first state, and when looking down in the property editor, we can add a primary owner, but we cannot add a secondary owner as it is grayed out. To highlight that secondary owner area, we must first move over to our primary table and click on it. Under the table palette in the System Fields section, we have a secondary owner field that we must drag and drop onto our table. After we have dropped the secondary owner field to our table, we can rename it if we desire, but I'm going to leave it as is. There are lots of options to choose from, but I'm going to leave it default for ease of this video. After we have added the secondary owner field to the table, we're going to click back on our workflow area just to take a look at our first state field once again. We have set primary owner as highlighted, we have set secondary owner as highlighted. Before I go into adding the secondary owner to our workflow, I'm going to move down to roles. I'm skipping ahead a little bit, and we need to add a role. I have already created that role and added it here. When you click on the role, you can see that I have added very simple privileges to the role. It's good to set this up ahead of time if you know this is what you need, but there are times to do it later, and we will go over this. For now, we are going to go back up to our workflow. I'm going to click back into the first state, and there are two ways to add a secondary owner. I can go down here into the property editor, I can click on the drop-down menu, and we can add a secondary owner here. Also, you can go up here to the state itself, right-click it, and add secondary owner. Either way, this will take you to a secondary owner wizard. I'm just going to go ahead and click on it here. Here is the wizard. I'm going to click on next, and we will add the role that I have created, which is the second owner role. As I said before, you can create a role on the fly by doing it here. Add the name, add a description, and then if you have a role that you would like to use for privileges as a template, you can click this little drop-down box and you can choose that role for your template. We're going to click out of this and click next. Now here, as we can see, we are creating another new field on our primary table. This is called, by default, second owner role. I am going to change this and make it second owner team, so that way we can see it easier when we go back to our table. Down here, we're going to choose a type. We can make this field a user field, a multi-user field, or a multi-group field. I have already created a group, so I'm going to make this a multi-group field. And we'll click Finish. Now, on the properties of the first state, we can see that second owner team has been added as the secondary owner for this state. We're going to move back over to our table, and we can see that same field created right here on our table. And the secondary owner field is still there as well. We're going to click on Options, and again, you have lots of options in which to choose. I'm going to move down here to Attributes, and I'm going to make this field a required field so that we're required to add a secondary owner in our process app in the user interface. I'm going to pause and deploy this process app and come back when it's done. I am back, and as you can see, the process app has been successfully deployed. We're going to minimize Composer, and we're going to come over to our user interface. Now, as you can see, the secondary owner app has been loaded, but we haven't associated our group to our role. Okay. We come into Application Administrator, and we're going to click on Groups. As you can see, I've already created a group called Second Owner Group. I am going to click on it, press Details to open it up. This was set up as a regular user account. I'm going to click in here into Roles. We're going to open up all of our projects. We're going to scroll down till we find our process app called Second Owner App Project. We're going to click on it. We can see that the second owner role is an option. We're going to enable it, and we'll click Save. If we click on Membership and we click on this column header, we can see the users I have already added to this group. Now that we've associated our group to our role, we're going to click back to the user interface. We are here in the process app, and we are going to submit a new item. We will create a simple title. This is our first test, and we will make the secondary owner group part of the secondary owner field, and we will click OK. Now that we have the secondary owner set for this state, which is our first state, I will now log out as my admin account, and I will log in as one of the users as part of the secondary owner group. Come over here and click into More. We're going to find our process app here, Second Owner App. We're going to click on it. I'm going to go up here in the search pane, and I'm going to click a star to see what items have been entered for this process app, and here it is. This is the item, and if we click on it, we can transition it because we are a secondary owner for this item. I hope that helps you, gives you insight on how to add a secondary owner, and this will conclude our video. Thank you very much.